What happens when a single man at the top of Wall Street believes he's untouchable? When arrogance replaces caution. And billions of dollars vanish overnight, in the halls of power, he was known as the gorilla. Not for his brute strength, but for his dominance, his ruthlessness, and the way he thumped his chest while Wall Street burned. This is the story of Richard Fuld, the former CEO of Lehman Brothers, the man whose empire of risk, greed, and denial helped ignite the 2008 global financial crisis. They called him the Gorilla of Wall Street. But behind that nickname was a legacy soaked in collapse, denial, and power plays gone wrong. This is the story of Richard Fuld, the man who led Lehman Brothers into the abyss and walked away with millions while the world collapsed. This is the real story Wall Street doesn't want you to remember. This is the ledger. To understand how one man helped trigger the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression, you've got to go back to the golden era of greed, Wall Street in the 1980s. Fuld joined Lehman in 1969 as a commercial paper trader. Back then, the firm was gritty, aggressive, and already teetering between brilliance and chaos. Fuld rose fast, not because he was diplomatic, but because he was feared. They called him the gorilla behind closed doors. If he was on a call, you didn't talk. If you messed up, you didn't get a warning, you got obliterated. But the board? They loved him. Because year after year, the numbers kept climbing. Fuld ran Lehman for 15 years. Under his watch, the firm morphed into a mortgage-backed monster, gorging on subprime assets and hiding risk in plain sight. He wasn't just drinking the Kool-Aid, he was mainlining it. At one point, Lehman Brothers was the fourth largest investment bank in the U.S., with $639 billion in assets. And only a sliver of that in real cash, but behind the flashy suits and profit sheets was a house built on sand, and Fuld was the architect. By 2007, the cracks were obvious to everyone. Except Richard Fuld. While Bear Stearns crumbled and whispers of a housing collapse echoed through Wall Street, Fuld doubled down. Lehman boosted exposure to risky real estate while the rest of the market braced for impact. Confidence? Or delusion? You decide. He rejected multiple opportunities to sell the firm or raise capital, even when Korean and Chinese banks knocked on the door. Why? Because Richard Fuld thought he could ride the storm. He believed Lehman was too smart to fail. Spoiler alert, they weren't. The day Lehman filed for Chapter 11, $10 trillion in global market value evaporated within weeks, and Fuld? He showed up to work that day like it was any other. But he wasn't greeted by handshakes. He was greeted by death threats. The fall of Lehman triggered a global financial meltdown, cost millions of people their jobs, homes, and life savings. And yet, the man at the center of it all never faced criminal charges. In front of Congress, Fuld swore he did nothing wrong. I wake up every single night wondering what I could have done differently, he said, solemnly. This is a pain that will stay with me the rest of my life. Yeah. But so did the $500 million in compensation he took during his reign, while retirees watched their 401(k)s burn. After Lehman's collapse, Fuld vanished from the spotlight, but not from wealth. He retreated to his mansion in Greenwich. Dabbled in consulting, and quietly launched a boutique investment firm. The financial system may have collapsed, but Fuld landed softly. The people? Not so much. Richard Fuld didn't just break a bank. He helped break global trust in the financial system, and while regulators scrambled, bankers wept, and families suffered, he never said, "I'm sorry." Because on Wall Street, sorry doesn't matter when you've already cashed out. In the end, Fuld wasn't just a casualty of the crash, he was a catalyst. A man who bet everything on greed. And left the world to clean up the rubble. Richard Fuld walked away from one of the biggest financial disasters in history, richer, unapologetic, and untouched by the law. He didn't just help destroy a 158-year-old investment bank, he triggered a financial shockwave that millions are still recovering from today. And yet, there were no handcuffs. No charges. No justice. If you think this was just one man's mistake, think again. Wall Street built this system. Richard Fuld just crashed it faster than anyone else. Like, share, comment, and subscribe for more true financial crime stories. Chart decreasing. This is the ledger, where power, money, and consequences collide. Don't forget to watch my previous videos. See you in my next video.